This is the average song speed today. 120 beats per minute or 2 beats per second, around up to twice as much as human resting heart rate. Popular songs around this tempo include
What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me?
Of course, not literally every song has this exact speed, but if we look at the top 10 Billboard songs right now and take the average tempo, it averages out to about 120 beats per minute. Pop music always felt a bit fast to me since I'm into more mellow songs, and after analyzing over 100 songs on the Billboard Hot 100, I realized that they do indeed average out to be on the faster side at about 120 beats per minute or 2 beats per second. So that's like going twice as fast as we would imagine if we think about time in seconds. So I want to go over why this slightly faster tempo of 120 beats per minute became the standard, as well as different popular tempos used on different genres of music. But first, let's start with some quick history. So in 1815, the German inventor Mälzel patented the first popular metronome to help musicians keep time, with Beethoven being an early adopter. And on Mälzel's original metronome, 120 beats per minute was a prominent marking located in the middle of the device, leading to widespread adoption. On modern day music software too, like if I just open up Apple's Logic Pro, the default speed is set to 120 beats per minute. And we can imagine that a lot of musicians just stuck with the default, especially on early electronic music, which I'm guilty of sometimes too. Around the same time, early 1800s too, Napoleon, the infamous French emperor and military leader, also started adopting 120 beats per minute for a faster military march, for more effective surprise attacks on enemies, since 120 beats per minute comes out to about 2 beats per second, quite fast, while previous European armies marched at about usually 80 to 100 beats per minute, and sometimes even half the speed at 60 for the slow march. With Napoleon army's success, other countries like the US, UK, or Canada also started following suit in adopting the 120 beats per minute for their quick march as well. Come the 1970s, disco music became super popular, with the emphasis on making people dance, so they needed a faster tempo, and that led them to adopt 120 beats per minute too on their songs. Whereas songs in the 60s, which were more soulful and just R&B, my type of jam, were often slower at around 90 to 110 beats per minute, and some even at like 60 beats per minute. This is a man's world. Disco then went on to heavily influence 80s pop music, and with modern music being largely inspired by 80s pop music, 120 beats per minute became the standard. I actually made a whole video going over popular 80s sounds used on modern pop music, including some used on 70s disco too, so check it out if you're interested. But why is 120 beats per minute exactly so special and widely adopted in history? For one, it's mathematically speaking, it's fairly easy to count. It's like 2 beats per second, so anyone with a stopwatch can easily tap along to the beat too. Versus another popular tempo in soul music of, let's say, 90 beats per minute, which is like 1.5 beats per second, that becomes fairly difficult to just count without a metronome helping us. So I can imagine part of the thought process back then being like, okay, we got the common 60 beats per minute or 1 beat per second tempo, which is super easy, but we need something faster. So what do? Let's just double everything. Let's make it 2 beats per second or 120 beats per minute. Perfect. It's still fairly easy to count, just doubling everything, especially in a military setting. A fun fact is that some musicians used to use analog clocks as metronome, since it makes like a clicking sound every single second, making it 60 beats per minute, and they would just play along to that and then double in their head to make it 120 beats per minute if they want to. Another reason for the tempo's popularity is how natural it feels to the human body. So regular human resting heart rate is about 80 to 100 beats per minute. While doing exercise, it's around 100 to 140 beats per minute. So 120 beats per minute is just slightly faster than resting heart rate, and right there in the middle in the kind of average speed for when humans exercise. So it's like a comforting exercise. It's like making us feel energetic without it being exhausting, like running a good mile, just enough to get the blood flowing. The fact that 120 beats per minute is a comfortable human exercise speed also makes it versatile across different genres of music, not just dance music. It's a bit fast for hip hop, but not unheard of. We need a little controversy, 'cause it feels so empty without me. It's a bit slow for punk, but again, there are plenty of punk songs at around 120 beats per minute too. Also, Modern pop music features a lot of adding layers and just complicated rhythm elements to the beat to make it sound cooler. So if we go past 120 beats per minute, it actually becomes quite hard to hear the details. So as an example, if we take a popular song like Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, which is around 110 beats per minute, if we sped it up to 130 beats per minute, here's how it sounds, starting with the original.
Birds of a feather, we should stick together. Birds of a feather, we should stick together.
It feels more like a workout song now versus a song to chill to, since all the drums kind of blend together. However, as alluded to earlier, depending on the genre of music, the speed or tempo can vary. For example, in hip hop, it's usually slower at around 80 to 100 beats per minute. There are a couple of reasons for this. The main one being that hip hop focuses more on the words, rhythm, and just flow of the rapper. So at a slower tempo, it's way easier for the rapper to feel the beat and rap over, especially if they're rapping fast.
Fill him with the venom and eliminate him. Other words, I'm intimate him. I don't want to hurt him, but I did him in a fit of rage. I'm murdering again. Nobody.
In addition, hip hop started out as a genre in the 70s and 80s, sampling old funk and soul music to rap over, and music back then was often slower. That culture kind of held on, so now hip hop tries to maintain a chill and laid back vibe still that focuses on the groove that makes people head nod, a central part of the culture. Another reason for hip hop's slower tempo is the rise of trap music and its dominance, really. Nowadays, hip hop producers love starting with a more chill, laid back beat, like to make room for the fast triplet, trappy hi-hats on top as a cool contrast. It only works really if the beat underneath is kind of slow to begin with. If the beat is too fast, let's say 140 beats per minute, then the fast triple hi-hats on top don't come out as well. On the other hand, punk and hardcore music tends to be way faster, often exceeding 160 beats per minute, with the instrumentation being way simpler too, kind of just like a guitar that keeps strumming down, like. The simplicity of punk comes from the DIY culture, where a lot of these musicians back in the day were self-taught and relied a lot less on conventional technique and instrumental virtuosity. So they would just play something simple. And in order to make something simple sound more interesting, they would speed up the songs. Another reason for punk's fast tempo is that the speed is what drives the message the artists want to convey of anger, anti-establishment, and just really intense energy. That's also why punk shows are known for mosh pits, a type of ritual or activity where fans intentionally form a circle and bump into each other violently for fun, which is hard to do when the songs are way more chill and laid back, like on hip-hop or R&B. As we sing, 120 beats per minute became the standard song speed due to how natural it feels to the human heart, how easy it is to calculate and divide into seconds, as well as widespread adoption in history by musical tools like metronomes, music production software, and even militaries. And different genres of music tend to have different average song tempos, depending on what they want to convey. If you're interested in learning about other common tricks used in pop music, check out this video where I go over the most popular chord progressions in pop music of the last 7 decades. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.